Okay, so if you have a linear equation and you need to get data points, I don't know, because you want to graph the function or because your teacher just needs some data points from that function, let me show you how to do that using this example function. So I've got strawberries is equal to 2 times leaves plus 1. And I have in mind something like maybe you could count the number of strawberries on a strawberry plant and relate that to the number of leaves the plant has. I have no idea how leaves and strawberries are related on the plants in real life, but pretend, if you will. If this is too wild and crazy for you, I mean, you could write it with letters. Yeah, sure, like S equals 2 L plus 1, but I need some color, so I'm just going to use these symbols, strawberries and leaves. Okay, so step one is to draw yourself a little table like this. And on this table, you'll record your points. What you need to do is decide what's going to be your input variable and what's going to be your output variable. If you recall, a function could look something like this. You start with your input variable, and then you turn it into your output variable. Okay. Um, so in this case, what's my output variable? Well, usually if a variable is by itself on one side of the equal sign, that's a pretty good giveaway that that's the output variable. Okay, that's what you might see an equation like y equals 5x plus 8, something like that. Y is your output variable. X is your input variable. Or other words for those are x is your independent variable because it can be whatever you want within reason. And y is the dependent variable because its value depends on what you plug in for x. So in this case, it's clear that strawberries is by itself. That's going to be the result or the output of the equation. And we're going to be plugging in values for leaves. So what you want to do is you put your plug-in variable here, your input, or another word for that is the independent variable, and then you put your output variable there. So it would look like that, x becoming y if you're dealing with x and y, or leaves becoming strawberries. You put a number in for leaves, and what you get out is a number for strawberries. So, and we go left to right. That's because we tend to read left to right. So that's why that's done. Okay, so make yourself a little table, and for the input variable, you can put in whatever you want. Make it easy on yourself, unless your teacher gives you some actual values that he or she wants you to use. Like you need to find out, what if I have 1,000 leaves? Well, then you have to use 1,000. But if you can choose anything you want, make it easy on yourself. Here, I'm just going to put in 0, 1, and 2 into this function, into this linear function described by this equation here. And then we'll see what we get out for strawberries for the output variable. So we'll just plug these guys in. So alright, and I guess I'll use letters just to make it easier so I don't have to redraw that every time. So strawberries is equal to 2 times leaves, and in this case we're going to put in our first value here for leaves. We're going to substitute that in and see what we get for strawberries. So 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Strawberries in this case is equal to 1. Oops, that does not look like a 1. That looks like a V. 1. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, so let's plug in these other two values, and actually let me pause for a second and clear out this space. Alright, so we found out what value of strawberries we get if we plug in 0 leaves. Of course, in the real world, that doesn't really make any sense. There's no leaves on this plant, but there's a strawberry. I don't know, but this is just a silly example to illustrate the point, so bear with me. Okay, so let's plug in 1 for leaves. So strawberries is equal to 2 times leaves, and in this case we're putting in 1 leaf plus 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. Let me add 1 to that. So s is equal to 3. And let's try our third value here. S is equal to 2 times leaves, and leaves is going to be 2 in this case, plus 1. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is equal to 5. So here are 3 data points for this linear equation. And you can come up with as many as you want, as many as you need. If all you're doing is trying to graph this, then all you need is 2 points. Okay, because if you plot 2 points, you can connect them with a line. If you're just trying to get an idea of the kinds of values that can work for this function, I don't know, just do a handful, 3 or 4. Or maybe your teacher will tell you to give him or her, however many values. So you choose whatever you want to plug in, and then plug those in and see what you get out, and just record them in a table like this.